Yo, what's good guys, and welcome back to our F1 Ultra Career Mode, and this is part 7, and we're going to be here in Canada. Now, I couldn't really do a proper intro because I kind of forgot to record. I only started recording during the qualifying 1 session in-game, so yeah. But I have some things to point out since it's round 6, well, no, I mean 7 of the season. I'm trying to do the stupid 6-7 in just layman. So, as you guys have probably noticed, Hamilton has been leading a pretty dominant. Well, he's been getting a dominant lead in championship standings as he's leading Raikkonen, who's been pretty consistent. And to be fair, he could be on to win the title. It's like 4th or 5th title. I don't know which title this is, to be fair, but yeah. He could win the title anyways, and Mercedes have been looking at a pretty dominant force throughout the season. Ferrari have actually closed in on them on the R&D chart, however, which means that Ferrari might start getting some wins and could challenge for the Constructors, as they're only about 40 points behind. Red Bull also not that far behind, but their reliability isn't really going to help. So, yeah, who knows? If things don't go Hamilton's way, then that will be a problem for him, of course, because then he could lose the championship lead in this game. So yeah, we'll see how this race will pan out for him. Now, this hasn't been the only thing that F1 fans have been pointing out. Why did I say panned? Oh my god. So yeah, anyways, it seems like Leclerc has been really getting his grip in his rookie season with Sauber, as he's got an excellent P5 in Bahrain just a couple of races ago, and because of this, Sauber ahead of McLaren, which I'm driving for. Yeah. It's not really something that I want, but to be fair, Leclerc has been showing pretty good pace, to be fair, and who knows, we could see him in the Ferrari scene in the 2019 season, which is what a lot of people have been speculating for the young gas driver. So yeah, if one of the giants of Vettel or Raikkonen decide to retire or leave Formula 1 or the team due to some issues, then yeah, we could see this guy in Formula 1, in Ferrari. So yeah, we might see him in red next year. Now it's time that we get back to ourselves and the point of the video, which is basically our F1 career mode, as I had high hopes for Canada because I'm kind of good at this track. I mean, in the second sector, I'm not really that quick, to be fair. So yeah, if we ended up very slow, that would have been a little bit of a problem. But McLaren did actually bring some upgrades to the car, which means that now we are the 5th quickest team ahead of Haas and Force India. We're still behind Renault and the big 3 teams, of course, but that won't really make a difference. This could really help us because then we could start challenging for more points. And more points means a better constructor result, as we're only about 2 points behind Sauber, and we're only about, like, I think, 9 behind Haas or something. I don't remember the constructor standings whilst I was recording this voiceover, so yeah. Eventually, at Canada, I had a lot of high hopes, as I was almost 4 times off on Sorokin, just showing how bad the Williams actually was. Until Hamilton just absolutely destroyed it last time with about 110, but he was on the slower compound, so it wasn't really a great comparison, to be fair. And yeah, to be fair, this lap wasn't really the best, to be fair. I did a couple of mistakes throughout the lap, which isn't really going to help, to be fair, but I know this track pretty well, so I had high hopes. As eventually we're going to round off the hairpin, as I hate the hairpin because I always understeer. There were actually some cars ahead. If I got close, I would have actually gone some slipstream, which would have maybe improved my lap. But there was something which I was considering about, which was one of the engine pods of my car was like worn. I think it was the MGU Ether or something, but that didn't explode. Don't worry, guys. As I completely cut the corner for some reason, and we're gonna get a little bit of slipstream, to be fair. And we do a 1:10.7. I mean, we're just ahead of Magnussen, so this showed we actually have some really good pace. Eventually going to the end of the session, after everyone did the laps, we were P11. There weren't really any major shocks to be found. Van Dorn was barely into Q2, I mean, and it looked like Sauber were not actually that quick this weekend, which was really good for us. So we could actually get some points on them if we actually made it into Q3 and finish in the top 10, so yeah. And just skipping to the end of the session, we were safely into Q2 with Van Dorn also. Sauber did not really have a good time, and yeah, it's just the usual bottom 5 drivers that are out, so yeah. Well, it's now time for Q2, and I completely cut the final chicane again, like I did in Q1. I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, I didn't know if I was going to be able to get into Q3. It felt like I wasn't that quick, to be fair. It felt like I was only going to be fine for, like, between like P11 and P13 or something. I wasn't expecting to make it into P3, to be fair. And to be fair, this first lap was kind of terrible, to be fair. The first sector was alright, to be fair. We weren't that slow, to be fair. And eventually, it's these corners which I hate a lot, and eventually I almost put it into the wall, and yeah, and that probably cost me a lot of time, to be fair, so yeah. To be completely honest with you guys, for some reason it feels like that whenever I do a lap I count that one lap is good and then the other lap is just really, really bad, and I have no idea what I'm doing. It's like one good, one bad, one good, one bad. Yeah, that's not a good hairpin, to be fair. I don't like the hairpin. To be completely honest with you, this lap was probably not even going to be Q3 anyway. If I did a lap which was actually very good, I would have probably called it an automatic Q3, to be fair. But I'm not too sure, to be fair. But who knows, we could make it into Q3. We made it into Q3 so far twice this season, once in Shanghai and once in Spain. In Shanghai, the race did not go to plan, and in Spain, the race went really well, and we got P7. So yeah, eventually we go between Magnussen and Gasly, which was probably not Q3 anyway. We were probably just a bit slow, to be fair, as I completely binned into the wall, and yeah, don't know what I was doing there, but okay, that is rather interesting, not gonna lie. Yeah, now we have front wing damage, which is great. So eventually, looking at the times, it seems like yeah, it seems like Van Dorn is last and I'm P13, so that is not good, to be fair. I was expecting Van Dorn to be a little bit quicker because we had the 5th quickest car, but oh well. Not like that's gonna mean anything. So this means that we actually have to do another lap and try and get into Q3, as we were actually dropped down to P14 now, so yeah. I actually got a little bit of switching from Ocon who was coming into the pit, so maybe that would have helped me, but you guys can see the lap to see if I improve or not.
If we don't get it to 10th or higher, we won't progress to the shootout. Give it your best shot.
And nope, that was only going to be P11, but it eventually became P12 because someone else improved. So yeah, we didn't make it into Q3 unfortunately, I mean, I felt like I had the pace, to be fair. That corner, I don't know why I did that corner cut just after, and like that chicane. I nailed the final chicane, but I just didn't do it right. I was 2 tenths out. 2 tenths out from Q3 anyway, so yeah. We'll go to the race and see what will happen.
Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix. The event first moved to a variant of this track back in 1978. It was won by none other than Gilles Villeneuve, the first Canadian to ever win his home race, and in whose honour the circuit would be renamed. With top speeds of around 210 miles per hour heading into the overtaking opportunity of turn 13, the 2.7 miles of the circuit Gilles Villeneuve are some of the quickest on the Formula One calendar. There are 14 corners in total, with 60% of the lap taken at full throttle, and average lap speeds clock in at about 130 miles per hour. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Force India. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. Sebastian Vettel will start on pole, Fantastic qualifying from the multiple world champion. And Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Ricciardo, Max Verstappen and Hulkenberg, Perez, Magnussen, Ocon and Roman Grosjean. Lucky, Van Dorn, Kimi Raikkonen. They've taken a grid penalty. And Sainz, Gasly, Hartley, Lance Stroll and Marcus Ericsson. Leclerc and Sergei Sirotkin rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
We're in a very good position today. Let's see if we can do even better in the race.
Oh yeah, it's time we get racing now. We're starting 1 position 9 due to Raikkonen's grid penalty. And I don't know what is going on with the formation lap glitches, because first it was Van Dorn getting disqualified, and now you guys can see for yourself what happened. What's Grosjean doing? Okay, what is Grosjean doing? He legit just stopped in the middle of the hairpin. That is kinda odd, to be fair, to say the least. Oh, here we are. Oh, we're going too slow. Oh no, Van Dorn's gonna fade right through us. That is pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting. Now we're gonna phase through our teammate now. Okay. Right. Come on, we got this. What's that? I'm gonna try and make up a lot of positions at the start so we can have a decent position for when we have to pit.
The rest of the grid is forming up. Be patient and watch for the lights.
Okay. Right. Let's see what we can do. Did I control it? Yeah, man. Good. So yeah, it's time we go out from the 5 lights. I don't know why I paused the menu there. So, it's going to be 5 lights, and away we go, as we have a pretty decent start, to be fair. We seem to be more quicker than Grosjean, and we're gonna absolutely send down Grosjean and knock on, make it free wide. I almost hit Magnus, and I was scared I was gonna hit someone, to be fair. So yeah, eventually we're gonna just go around the outside, and we've gained 2 positions off the start. That is pretty good, to be fair, as it looks like Perez and Hulkenberg are squabbling ahead as I almost run into Magnussen. I thought I did damage my front wing at least, as Grosjean's going to try and look down inside, but we've had a pretty good start, to be fair, considering we're on the harder compound. I mean, we did like nosedive like 2 people, but yeah. However, we're not really good with exit at this corner, as Grosjean looks like he really wants to get past us, as we're gonna brake a lot later and, yeah, just stay ahead of him. It does look like, though, that the Ferrari of Vettel is still leading just ahead of both Mercedes and both Red Bulls, as Raikkonen, yes, has taken a grid penalty, and is actually stuck in a bit of traffic. So if Raikkonen stays stuck in traffic, we could get free position because of this. As they're heading onto this long, very long straight. I mean, it's not the longest straight ever, but it's a straight. So eventually, it does look like Magnussen is losing a bit of time to the cars, and for us, we're gonna do a massive send on him. And I don't know if I hit him or I ran over, but I don't think I hit him, to be fair. I looked at the replays earlier, and I don't think I hit him. So yeah. That is pretty good, to say the least. As we're up to PA, we've gained 3 positions off the start, which is pretty good, to be fair. As okay, that was not a good first corner, to be fair, but I think we can actually get points, you know, if we carry on with this good race pace. So yeah. As Magnussen and Grosjean are now fighting behind, which is going to cost them a lot of time, which is perfect, which is actually ideal for both of us. Wait, no, I don't mean it's ideal for both of us. I mean, it's just ideal for me, as I'm now going to break away from them. And if Raikkonen does something, because he's obviously in a Ferrari whilst they're in a Haas, then this could really be useful. But we are starting to lose a bit of time to Perez, because he's on the quicker tyres, whilst we're not, to be fair. As we are almost going to lose DRS, I really need to keep pushing. There's a yellow flag, and I think one of the Toro Rossos, or something, I don't know. I think it was someone. I think someone might have actually gotten damage. I'm not exactly too sure who did, but eventually I don't know what on earth is going on at the hairpin, because it looks like everyone's banging like crazy, to be fair, at the hairpin, which is kind of interesting. Now, eventually skipping a lap later, it looks like Perez and Hulkenberg are now fighting. I did actually lose the DRS because I wasn't really quick on this tyre, and I now had a massive gap behind to Raikkonen and Grosjean because they were now battling. So yeah, eventually Perez and Hulkenberg are going side by side again, and it looks like the leaders are not that far, because it seems like Hamilton has actually some sort of issue on his car, which is why he's holding them guys up, the Red Bulls up. I don't know why I paused the menu. I think someone entered my room. So yeah. I usually record my videos when there's no one around, so I can have full access and like full freedom to making videos. I don't know what I said. As it looked like Perez and Hulkenberg are still going side by side, which is pretty good, because if they have a bad exit out of the straight, like the long straight, then I'll probably be able to get past them. As it's still going side by side, this might cost me though a lot of time to Raikkonen, as it looks like Raikkonen actually gapped the cars behind. So yeah, and they're still going side by side. This is actually pretty good racing, to be fair, from these guys, to be fair. But we are really getting hold up. Those Perez, Hulkenberg doesn't eventually come out on top as we go onto the grass, which is not going to help us whatsoever. Okay. But Perez is going to have the DRS, I think, and he might try and get past Hulkenberg again. I'm not sure, to be fair, as the DRS really makes the cars very, very quick, to be fair. As Perez is going to try and look on Hulkenberg. Eventually, Hulkenberg doesn't have a good exit because he gets overtaken, and eventually I'm going to get past him, and now I'm up to P7, which is very good, to be fair. So yeah, we're now in a really strong position. If the tires of the guys who are on the ultra soft, like, wait, no, I'm on the ultra soft. If the tires of the guys who are on the hyper softs wear out, then I could actually get past Perez soon. The weather radar said it's not gonna rain, so this will probably just be a full dry race. So yeah, let's see what happens. And eventually the lap after that, I get past Hamilton. Well, not the lap after that, like 2 laps later, because he had an issue. So yeah. Eventually he's gonna, I don't know what he's doing here. So I was going for the gap. Hamilton, I think, squeezed me out. I don't know why I was trying to make a move for a gap that did not exist whatsoever. I did luckily save the car. That would have actually ended pretty badly, to be fair, if I didn't save the car, so yeah. Now, you guys can probably tell from the title of this video that one thing really kind of ruined my race, and yeah. Wait, when did we get warnings? I'm so confused. We got one on lap 2. We got 2 warnings on the same lap. How is that possible? Oh my god. So yeah, penalties did play a bit of a part in my race, to be fair. And they didn't tell me whatsoever. So yeah. Now, to summarize this video, to summarize what happened after this, and to make the video short, basically, I got overtaken by like 3 people after the pit stop. So, firstly, we got overtaken by Sebastian Vettel on lap 9. Then Bottas got us right in the same place on the lap after Vettel overtook me. And then Ricciardo overtook me because I let him pass, but he eventually locked up and I got the position back until he re-overtook me on lap 15. And then I ended up pitting on that same lap. So yeah, that's all that happened. And we're into the pits. No, don't change my front wing. Don't change my front wing. Why was it set to... Oh, no. Please, team. Don't change my front wing. Okay, good.
Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
Sorry, Stoffel, I had to get past. Nothing, to be fair, happened after that, to be fair. We're now P8 after a couple of other people pit. And we had a massive gap to Grosjean, which meant that we would probably finish in the points unless we didn't get any more penalties. But we did eventually get more penalties. Oh my god, whoa. So it looks like that Hamilton and Raikkonen went side by side and I got past them. And Hamilton is going to stay down the inside. Okay, he literally just tapped us and we eventually lost traction. And then we get done by Raikkonen. So we overtook both of them and then we got absolutely demolished by both of them. I mean, to be fair, they're in a Ferrari and a Mercedes. I'm in a McLaren, which has like no engine power whatsoever. Just like Fernando said, it's a GP2 engine. So, yeah. We're eventually now, we have a bit of a gap to Perez behind. But I don't know if he already paid or not. He probably did already pay, to be fair. Wait, has Grosjean paid, yeah? Yeah, okay, Grosjean needs to pay. Van Dorn is going to the end. Now, we would actually have our first retirement after we had no retirement so far. There was actually a yellow flag, and it was from the Toro Rosso Brendan Harley, as he had some sort of engine issue and just retired at the first corner. So, yeah, we actually now had 19 drivers left instead of 20. I mean, I was wondering if this race was even going to have any DNFs, because it was a pretty boring race, but eventually now we are down to 19 drivers, as Raikkonen looks very rapid, to be fair, in the with the fresh tyres. Now, you guys probably know how early I said I got a penalty on lap 8. Well, I actually ended up getting another one on lap 25. Which, yeah, didn't really help, to be fair. And eventually I looked in the race director. Whilst I was editing, I did not realize I actually got another penalty on lap 20. But that was because I cut lap 20 out of the video. So, yeah, that is pretty interesting. So now we're on a 9-second penalty, which is really bad if we don't finish ahead of, like, the drivers who are outside the points. So, like, if we don't finish ahead of whoever's in P11 by over 9 seconds, we'll finish outside the points, which will practically waste this race for no reason. So, yeah, and we actually had Perez now right behind us, so he could put a little bit of pressure on us, and it also seems like Hamilton and Raikkonen are just trading fast as well because they're super quick on the new tyres. They were battling, but I don't know if they're really going to battle, to be fair, when trying to catch up to me, as, yeah. The Max will probably finish as P8, because there's also Renault catching up, but then Van Dorn is in P10, but I don't think he's actually close enough to catch up, so, yeah. And yeah, there weren't really any major surprises, to be fair, this race, except I saw Walter Reynolds, which was very down the order, and I don't know if Reynolds just... Walter Reynolds didn't have a pace. I think it was Sainz. I don't know if Sainz didn't have any pace today, or... yeah. As I go really, really deep, which isn't going to help, as Perez is now right behind us, but I'm not going to bother fighting him, to be fair. I have a penalty, so... yeah. I think he hit me, I'm not too sure, to be fair. Did Perez just run into the back of me? I'm so confused. Laps to go till the... I mean... well, it's going to be 7 now, because it's going to be lap 28 when we cross the line. Yeah, Hamilton and... oh, and I don't know what I'm doing. I just lost all my words. So, anyways, as I was saying, Hamilton and Raikkonen are really closing in. They are fighting a bit, but I don't think that's going to be enough, to be fair. I'll probably finish P8. I mean P... wait, what? I don't know what position I'm in. So, Hamilton is P7, Raikkonen is P8. So, I'll finish P8 if I manage to keep the car stable, which I hope I do, to be fair. But the tyres feel like they've been absolutely burned. Like, I honestly cannot turn the car whatsoever. Like, it feels like the car has just no grip. And yeah, that is probably... the tire isn't even that high, and the car already feels there. This is actually a bit concerning. I don't know if I need to do some tire wear upgrades on this car, because I really do push the tires quite a bit on the F1 games. But yeah, Hulkenberg is around 15 to 20 seconds behind, I think, or something. So if we push enough, then we should stay ahead of him. But I do not have high hopes, to be fair. I'm already lost 2 seconds to Perez within, like, the first like couple of laps, which I broke away from his DRS, to be fair. And Hamilton is only 2 seconds behind, as well as Raikkonen. Hulkenberg, I don't know what the gap is, to be fair. I'll probably figure it out. But Van Dorn is actually running P10 right now, which is very good, because we could get our first double points finish of the season, which would be very good for the team and in the constructors fight for P7, as we're behind Sauber. So, yeah. What am I doing? Bro, I got another penalty. I'm gonna get disqualified at this. Oh, no. Yeah, so, I got another penalty, and now Hamilton and Raikkonen are right behind me, which is pretty bad, to be fair. I mean, I'm probably gonna let them pass. I'm not gonna try and fight them, to be fair, because, you know. Now, the car felt like it was like literally sliding on ice or something, because I honestly could not turn this thing whatsoever. I had a 12-second gap to Hulkenberg, but of course he was on fresher tires, so I wasn't going to do anything as, yeah, look here. I almost put it into the wall. My car just was like, oh, not today. Like, literally, it was sliding like nuts, bro. I mean, to be fair, it was probably the tires now. They were absolutely fried. I don't think I could really do anything, to be fair. I'll probably just have to accept that I'll finish P9. Unless I somehow spun, like, yeah, unless I, like, spun and sent it into the wall and then lost P10 to Van Dorn. I mean, P9 to Van Dorn and P10 to Grosjean. Van Dorn was still ahead of Grosjean, which was pretty good. He was actually ahead of both Hasses, but there was a chance Grosjean could just catch up to him and take the P10 away, which, yeah.
Stockton's in P10 at the moment. Gap to teammate behind is 19.1 seconds. They're on old super softs. The time last lap was a 1 minute 14.1. You're sat in P8. Raikkonen ahead. Gap to car in front is 2.6 seconds. They're on old ultra softs. Hulkenberg behind. Okay, the gap behind is 11.0 seconds. They're on old super softs. Our gap to first place is 32.4 seconds. The pit window is open. Pit window currently open.
So yeah, to be fair, I don't think really anything is gonna happen in these last 4 laps except a couple of cars getting lapped, because there's not really any battle. Everyone's just spread out. The only battle I really see on the minimap is both Williams and I think Leclerc, Ocon, and Gasly. So yeah, I'm not gonna say this is the most boring race ever. Of course, I think that Bahrain was also a bit boring, to be fair, except that last lap crash. But to be fair, I find this race was pretty interesting. And yeah, we're gonna skip on to the final lap now and start the final lap of the race. Overall, to be fair, I'm pretty satisfied with how this race has gone, to be fair. I mean, I've spent almost like 3 hours editing. I don't know how, to be fair. I started editing like 1 PM. Now it's 3:35 PM as I'm speaking, so I don't know why my videos take so long to edit. I might need to hire an editor, you know. But, you know what, I don't care. I like editing videos. It's pretty interesting, as I think Valtteri Bottas is gonna be winning the Grand Prix just ahead of Sebastian Vettel. So yeah, it'll be another Mercedes win, as Hamilton is only P5. So yeah, and Raikkonen's only P7. Just letting you guys know that Raikkonen and Hamilton are like top 2 in the championship. So this race is not going to be very good for them, as they'll be outscored by the other 4 drivers who are in the top 6. So yeah, Perez will now also get another great result for Force India, as I don't know why Ocon is so terrible. When in real life, to be fair, they were pretty close, except that one time when Perez got a podium in Baku. So yeah.
Well, as I was saying, Hamilton and Raikkonen didn't finish in the top 5 this race, so this will be crucial. This will be very bad for them, because they're in the top 2 in the championship. And we're going to run up the final corner. And we're going to finish P8, but we're going to finish P9 due to penalties. Yeah. We still got points, so that is good.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Oh my god, bro, that was such a chaotic race. We got points, at least that is good.
That's it for another Grand Prix and a fantastic win for Mercedes. Anthony, what do you think made the difference here?
Well, I think the track conditions just really suited their car today. Wind, track temperature, you name it. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature. So the more easily you can keep them there, the better your race tends to go. And that's exactly what happened. Their car just looks so comfortable out there.
So as I say that, we can see the drivers coming out now to collect their trophies. It's yet more silverware to take back to their base in Brackley after another excellent Grand Prix. So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. It wasn't the best weekend for our championship leader, and their advantage at the top has been reduced. Now then, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
Well, I have to give it to Kimi Raikkonen. Consistency, good battle, sensible driving. He can be pleased with that performance today.
And here's how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes have extended their lead at the top of the standings. There was also a strong showing from the McLaren team today as they make their way up the standings. Well, what a weekend that has been. Please join us next time for another thrilling instalment of this Formula One season.
I mean, it was a pretty boring race, to be fair. We only had Brendan Hartley retire. So what does this do in the standings? We're still P12. Van Dorn also gets a point. So Bottas is now P2 in the championship after Raikkonen's poor weekend, and he's only 19 points behind Hamilton. Vettel then overtakes Ricciardo, probably because he has better results than him. And Perez is still best to the rest side of Hulkenberg. Sainz didn't score any points, which is bad for him. So, yeah. Grosjean's still the last man in the top 10. Leclerc, ourselves, Magnussen, Van Dorn, and Ocon. And then the rest of the drivers have not scored yet. In the constructors' standings, we're now P7. We're now P7, just 1 point ahead of Sauber, only 6 ahead of Haas, which is pretty good. I don't know if we're going to be able to get to Renault, though. I don't think we can get to Renault Force in yet. They seem very quick. We could get Haas, though, if we managed to develop the car even more. So, yeah. We got... Bro. Right, so... Bro, look at this. We got literally so many penalties. What was I doing, bro? Genuinely.
Now, Vettel would have actually won the race, to be fair, but he actually had an issue, as my engineer said. I'll show you in a minute, hold on.
Some information on Vettel. They have an issue with their car. They're going to be slow.
Oh, yeah, Vettel had an issue, but to be fair, at least he got P2 at least, so that's good. So yeah, guys, I'm probably going to round off the video here, and I'll see you all next time, I guess. So, peace.